Because I don't really have anything bad to say about wrestling anymore. Like,
yeah,
I don't really pay that much attention to. I don't pay that much attention to Raw.
Yeah.
So
at this point, it's kind of just like they're trying the best they can. They're doing what they can with what they got. We don't need to keep going in on them.
It's like WWE still exists. Good enough. Good enough.
You know what? You guys are still going and you're trying. We're proud of you. Welcome to Fight Boys, show about professional and not so professional wrestling. I am your host, the returning hero, Scottye Moore.
I'm uncomfortable with that claim, the Dylan.
and Blake's gone because apparently this is just a two-person show from now on. It's just gonna be
gonna rotate. It's fine.
It's a rotating cast.
That way, people can skip the ones where the one of us they don't like isn't there.
Oh yeah.
Or if they don't like you, then they can just listen to that one last week, and that'll be it.
Well. Man, I just watched Matt Riddle versus Tim Thatcher, and Bud, that's all I want to talk about today, because Matt Riddle won me over in the course of one fucking match. Because that
yeah, so just so you know, there was a whole promotion based on that.
Yeah.
In the 90s. There wasn't a cage, but, what was it? FMW, Frontier Martial Wrestling. Where Suzuki started, I think. Like, that was their whole thing. It was all worked, shoot, wrestling.
Yeah. Timothy Thatcher might be the single most frightening man on the WWE roster at this point. Like, yeah, Brock's big, but like...
The fact that he couldn't get booked in Japan still baffles me.
Wait, how? What? How?
I don't know. That was part of the thing he said, is he said he wanted to go work in Japan, but nobody would book him. That was part of why he went to WWE.
That's ridiculous. Like, the man, and I don't know if this was shoot or not, but the man lost 2 teeth at the beginning of the match. And like that,
I think that's shoot. I really feel like neither one of them is a poor enough worker
to knock out
that happen.
Teeth, yeah. But even still, that match...
I mean, did he smile at one point? You could see where they were going?
They were, like, knocked in. Like, you remember when Cesaro had the teeth shoved into his gums? It was similar to that, but Kurt had, like, 2 teeth in his hands. So I have no idea what it is.
Yeah, that probably was a work. I did see the sweet callback wall run kick off the cage. That was cool.
Oh, yeah. Matt was having fun with the cage. Just any moment where he could run at the cage and jump off it Matrix style, Matt would do it. He would take it. And I do like that they did the not a dumb, like, because one of my least favorite tropes is like when the baby face is in like a headlock and drops onto their back, implying that like, oh, I hurt him so much that they let go. Yeah, but you're still right there. So Matt does that. Matt gets probably 4 feet off the ground on this jump, falls on his back. Thatcher lays out for a moment and then goes, oh wait, still here, reaches up and then chokes out Matt, and Matt was purple. It was so good to end that match.
I mean, that's a level of trust there where he's like, listen, I know you know how to legitimately apply a sleeper hold. Like, just do it, count the, 9 seconds it takes for somebody to fully pass out, and then let me go.
Yeah, exactly. So that was good. And then Riddle got interviewed on The Bump yesterday, and the only news to come out of that was the fact that they showed him that really cringy video of him and Goldberg at SummerSlam, where Goldberg had one thing to say and one thing to say only, and it's, I'm not your bro, friend. And Matt's like, I'm not your friend, bro. Yeah, it was that, and then Matt immediately healed off on it. He was just like, yeah, man, I've got a certain way I like to think you need to work. Like, I wake up every day and I work and I make sure I've got the skills to go all the way in the ring. And, me and Bill just don't agree on that. So, agree to disagree, I guess. And it just reminded me of, like, Why haven't they turned him yet? What? I guess it's just because like he's got a chill attitude. Most of their most fans would be like, that guy's cool, but like he'd be so good.
I think it's a thing where like that level of not pettiness, but that level of like just
arrogance.
Like arrogance, almost passive aggressive heelness. They're like, that's not enough. That's not in your face enough to be a heel.
Yeah.
He'll work. He's tweener at this point. He's not even a bit. He's tweener. He's full tweenering this.
Yeah. They're like, go argue with Will Ospreay about your bank account on Twitter and then come back to us about a heel turn, Matt. We'll figure it out. Because he's going to SmackDown, is what they're saying. And I would...
Oh, you mean I get to see him work AJ?
Yeah, I'm thinking it's going to be... AJ wins...
Get to see him...
AJ wins IC title, and then Riddle is his first feud. That's probably going to be my pick of what happens.
You mean I get to see him work with the Regal Eagle, the Legal Beagle, Drew Gulak?
Oh, the returning Drew Gulak? Yeah.
The returning Drew. My dreams for a Gentleman's Club reunion shattered.
Well, here's the thing. It's weird because, like, people are like, oh, if he resigns, they're probably going to resign Maverick too, which they probably are, given the fact that they took him all the way to the finals of the tournament and have built this great story with him.
If they still fire him at this point, he at least has amazing, like, coverage.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
They are giving this man a 100% written ticket to go get money somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly. And I was thinking about it, and I was like, why am I, like, happy Gulak re-signed, and I would be very upset if they kept Maverick. And then I was like, oh, wait, because Gulak got, like, a cruiserweight title run. He had the fun PowerPoint gimmick for a while. Now he's with Daniel Bryan. Meanwhile, what has Drake Maverick done until they fired him? Exactly.
He was a really good commissioner for 205.
Yeah, but
in the early days,
that implies watching 205 live, which I was not about to do at all. And I did like him versus Michael Bennett. That was a good storyline between those two.
From what I understand, El Fantasma.
Yes.
El Hijo de Fantasma.
Mm-hmm.
Is the other person. So people are like, okay, this is where the Lucha Mafia storyline is going to come in finally.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right. Still doesn't make any sense, but all right.
Fantasy booking style, what I would like to happen is have Phantasmo win, and then Maverick, they promote that Maverick is fired, and then do the John Cena comes back to attack Nexus, except it's Maverick as just this peppy little spitfuck going after all of the fucking Mafia, just taking them all out one by one.
His homecoming, if he goes back to Impact, would be legendary.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Especially if he got Ethan with him, like both of those two together, it would go crazy.
Yeah. Maybe even without Ethan, because I'm pretty sure he could go and, like, especially with Callis and I forget who the other person running it, like, doing that now, they'd be like, yeah, no, this is Jimmy Jacobs is there? Oh, him and Jimmy Jacobs working together?
Yeah,
Good
yeah.
stuff.
Isn't it Scott D'Amore? Isn't that the other guy?
Yeah, Scottye Moore. Yeah. Scottye Moore's got a good mind for the business.
You're right, Scottye Moore
Despite
does have
working
a great
with
mind.
Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah. Speaking of released talent, fucking fuck the rest, baby. FTR is here. They are ready to go. And I like the way they brought them in, because they could have easily just been like, we attack the Bucks and that's the storyline. Instead, it is keep those four away from each other for as long as possible and then put it on a pay-per-view. And those buys will skyrocket just to see that match finally happen.
Watch it shit the bed.
I mean, that is my worry, but like,
hype ever since the AJ Nakamura WrestleMania match, I trust no amount of hype.
Yeah, exactly. Because like for me, I was worried because I'm like, they're kind of more not technical, but like brawlers, and then you've got high flyers. Would that work? And then I remembered all of the Red Dragon versus Young Bucks matches, and I'm like, oh, that's right, they can work with anybody in any style ever. That's fine.
Yeah.
As long as the hype doesn't get back to them, it'll be good.
I'm sad they kept their names of Cash Wheeler and Dax Hardwood, but whatever.
I love them so. It's such a good, terrible name. I love how good and bad those names are.
They're
Let's see. Yeah, we talked about Riddle. Oh yeah, congratulations on your TBH pick because you got the best fucking TBH pick of all time when fucking Cage stepped through, managed by Taz. In other words, the most deadly duo in all of AEW.
I was with a lot of people like Brian Cage can cut a fucking promo.
Yeah.
Like, you saw it in Lucha Underground, you saw it when he was in Impact. Like, he can do it. He didn't need Taz. But then I saw Taz's promo on Moxley this week where he used his line for it. What was it? Like,
survive if you can. Or no, it's something if you can't survive if he lets you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
win
was
if you can, survive if he lets you.
That's right. And honestly, I think AEW's kind of got a hard on for managers. Like anybody. Like I didn't think Cody needed Arn, and Cody still does not need Arn, as evidenced by the promo he cut this week. So now Arn's just kind of like a friend who gets to come out to the ring for him.
Like Arn's been pushed back to like he's in the background now. Like he's advising. It's like DDP. Like QT Marshall now uses the diamond cutter. It's the same thing where like they're like the Nightmare Family isn't all in your face. It's like this weird syndicate organization.
It's like it's like Tiny Toons Academy. You've got the professor and then you've got the student underneath it.
Yeah. The natural nightmares is this weird combination of like old enough. So like QT Marshall's being built up as like this, like, okay, he's the guy like coming up learning, and I'm like, isn't QT Marshall in his 30s? Isn't he?
Exactly.
Hasn't he been doing this for a while?
Oh, by the way, speaking of them, oh, bud, that match, Cody versus Old Murder Hawk Lance Archer, it's not that it was bad. It just suffered from, like, you brought it up a few weeks ago, Cody overproduces his matches too much, and I'd never really seen it until this one, because
Really, the MJF one wasn't enough for you?
That was alright. It wasn't as bad as this one for, like, how many spots?
You mean the six run-ins and, like, the 8?
Yeah.
The 8 interactions, and like Mike Tyson had to save his ass, and then he had to hit 2 crossroads, which at least it took 2. But
right. I will say, there was like a 5-minute period where they just did what they're supposed to do, and that's wrestle. And in that, they built up Lance to be an absolute monster. Cody was definitely a sympathetic babyface, but like, first thing he does when he gets in the ring is Lance grabs, I don't know who. I looked down at my phone. I looked up. There's just a random dude in the ring getting choke slammed from Lance. First thing he does in the match is hit a blackout on Cody, and Cody just rolls to the outside. And we're like, okay, that's cool. So then match begins, and then the ending happens. And it consists of...
Oh, yeah. Actually, here, I knew about the blackout. Just walk me through this match. So it's blackout, then 5 minutes of wrestling.
Yes. Lance is doing his walk the ropes thing. Arn gets up and slips him out, so now he crotches himself on the top rope. Ref sees it. Ref goes, you know what? You're out of here. And I'm like, it's like fucking, oh god, what's the comedian's name? You know what? That seems fair. Yeah, that seems appropriate actually. So now Arn leaves. Yeah, Jim Jeffers. And then, so now Arn's out, but then Jake is out too for some reason. He kicks Jake out. Because Jake had interfered a little bit, but not enough to like get kicked out of the match. And then Jake just starts walking immediately. It's not like Jake went to the back, they wrestle a few more, like 5 more minutes, and then Jake returns. No, it's Jake walks out, Cody turns to look, and then Jake comes back with the snake in the bag. Then Mike Tyson, a man who was visibly yawning earlier in the match, is like, I guess it's my time to do something, and then gets up on the ramp and just takes his shirt off and starts screaming at Jake. Jake's like, oh no. So now all of this has happened.
By the way, Mike Tyson in ridiculous shape.
Yeah, absolute maniac. And so then it gets back to the ring, and Lance is like, oh, I'm gonna get my comeback. Goes for the blackout. Cody reverses into a crossroads, and then picks him back up, hits a second crossroads, and then pins him 1, 2, 3. And I guess it's the theater major in me that was like, rule of threes, man. Should have hit that third crossroads. But it was just so much shit piling on top of one another that I think they were trying to make a huge moment. But since there wasn't a crowd around them to rise up as each individual level happened, it just blowed out and seemed really weird.
Why did Arn Anderson interfere in the match if Cody's a babyface?
Because cause fuck you, buddy. I'm gonna get in there. I'm gonna make sure my boy wins that ugly ass fucking fruit stripe title. Yeah. But then Cody
At least he cut a decent promo.
Copy, same exact thing I was about to say. He came back. I watched it last night, like right before I was about to leave the office, and I was like, oh, that's right. Cody is fucking amazing. It's just once he actually wrestles.
No. Cody cuts a great Cody is a great talker. Cody can get you invested in a match. Cody should not have creative control over that match.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. So I have a theory.
Okay.
My theory is that the reason why the match at last year's Double or Nothing was so good is that Dustin is one of the few people that will tell Cody to shut the fuck up and he'll listen.
Yeah.
Because he's family. That's the only thing I've got. Because, like, MJF can't. MJF is new in is like, you know, he hasn't paid his due. Archer just got there.
Yeah.
And if, like, Arn's backing him is, like, a good idea, you're gonna fucking, like, yell at that. I don't care if you have Jake in your corner. Like...
Exactly. And then I guess, like, Jericho was just like, you know what? You seem smart. Let's go, boy. Let's see what you can do. Because, I mean, the build-up to that match was Cody straight up being like, I want to prove that I belong on the same level as him. So I guess Jericho was like, prove it. Book the match. See what happens, fucker. I'm going to go out here with the Young Bucks and go tear it down in the middle of an abandoned football arena. Let's go.
He issued an open challenge for the belt. And, like, I know it's been happening for years, but ever since John Cena, the open challenge has kind of been ruined as a concept for me.
The man says the man who is currently doing an open challenge angle in JWF. But yeah, I like it. I like it in a company when there's a lot of like stuff happening. Like right now, when they're
That's true.
Possibly going to be hiring a lot of people and bringing them in. Yes. Back when John originally did it, and it was a rare thing to see an NXT talent come up, it was a great thing. But
That's true.
If it's just, hey, every week QT Marshall's gonna come out here and I'm gonna fight him, or I'm gonna fight Darby, like I don't feel it as much. It's a way to bring
Maybe
in...
if he fought like Ortiz or Santana.
Yeah, that'd be fun. It's a way to get dream matches out of the way, like, or even beyond that, like matches you wouldn't expect to be a dream match but are. Also, FMA does bring up, speaking of Dustin Rhodes, how about that match with Shawn Spears? I think Dustin has a new thing where every match he just has to be a pervert for a little bit, because the
gold dust has gotten to him.
The gold dust, he snorted it before this match because, like, firstly, he had the match against Hager, where he just decides to make out with Hager's wife on live television, which was very gross. And then there was this one where Shawn is coming out and being like, hey, fight me, come on, you're supposed to be retired, ha ha. And he's playing the perfect shit heel. He is being an excellent shit heel, so much so that I'm like, I get why they put him with Tully. He is the next new Tully. It's fantastic. But then instead of, like, putting a real ass whooping on him, Dustin just decides to strip Shawn Spears for a match. And it was real weird. There was match stuff that happened, but no, it was just enough for Dustin to be like, I am still here and I'm still wrestling. I'm like, okay.
On an aside, babyfaces kissing, like, people's girlfriends or wives is a creepy heel move.
Yes. Sexually assaulting a woman?
Someone, yeah. So, because that happened on Dark, where Jungle Boy was wrestling against Peter Avalon, and Leva Bates got knocked onto, like, you know how Luchasaurus will carry Jungle Boy. Like, she got knocked in that, and then freaking Marco Stunt got on the ring apron and, like, made out with her.
Oh, God.
Oh, and I was just like, everything about that is horrifying. My favorite thing is Taz was like, was that his first kiss? That was the only good thing to come out of it.
Speaking of coming out, once he got stripped down to just his underwear, it did look like his dick was out the whole time. So everyone was just like, why's his dick out? And then finally they zoom in. He just has a small, honestly, it looked like it was just taped on their picture of Tully Anderson. And I was just like, what? Why? I don't
want to know.
Yeah, it's too much. It was, because at first I was like, oh, he's being the shitty little heel and Dustin has to take care of him. That's fun. But then they pushed it a little too far by putting Tully on his dick, quite literally.
By the way, no, that was because Dark has continued to be good. Two things from Dark, or after last night. One, they brought in a guy, Lee Johnson, who has to be getting signed because this man has wrestled 9 matches. He has lost every one of them. He is 4 losses behind Avalon and freaking Cutler. So and those guys got to get their wins in so that guy can be the new worst wrestler in AEW because he's working every week.
I was going to say, I think he lost to Cage on Dynamite too.
Yeah, so he's 0-9.
Yeah. Holy shit. Quick WWE news, and this is more just an opinion section. The hacker thing's gone too far, right? Like, they should have paid that off back at Money in the Bank. I'm not the only one thinking this, right?
I think it's because they didn't have their full roster.
Yeah, because for me,
so I was just... now that Florida has loosened it all up, now they'll probably do it.
Yeah. Because I read, I think it was on Wrestling Inc., they're like, mystery hacker, new info. And I'm like, this is still fucking go. It's like the Raw anonymous general manager thing. I don't think they have a plan. Because I think I think what they want to do is a surprise. And the internet keeps figuring it out. And so now they're like, we can't do it anymore. We can't have it to be Ali. What if it's a group? What if Ali has a group? Oh, fuck. They figured out it's a group. Xavier? They did a lot of work to figure out it was Xavier. Okay, I got nothing. Let's just keep doing it for a while until we can re-sign Hornswoggle, and then we'll just have that great payoff. So that happened. This was very good, and it's just a small story, but Heath Slater did an interview, and he was talking about the plane ride from hell, where they got stuck in Saudi Arabia for so long. Mm-hmm. And I read the headline, I'm like, oh great, I'm gonna get some juicy details here. Here are the details. Heath Slater fell asleep on the fucking plane and 5 hours later woke up and said, hey man, where are we? We're still here. That's it. That's the whole story. He was like, yeah, and they took us to a hotel, and they said everyone was asking if we were uncomfortable. Fuck no, I'm in a hotel. Like, okay, Heath, got you.
He's going to be a great NWA champion.
It's the most Heath Slater story of all time. Oh, by the way, have you been watching Carneyland from NWA?
No, dude. If I haven't been watching their actual programming, I had all the time in the world for that. I completely forgot that existed. I could have just fucking binged that in a day.
It's Carneyland was very good because it's Carney bullshit. It's like Aldis telling stories of like, I went and worked a show in Tennessee and then the promoter refused to pay for the hotel room and then went through like a whole story about that. Then I think it was it Allison? I can't remember who it was, taught a class on how to cut a generic promo, and it was ridiculous. And then they're just doing a bunch of other shows. Like Eli Drake has a podcast now. Aldis is doing a podcast with them now. It's just a fuck ton of random shit that NWA's wanting to do.
Does he still, have you watched it, does he still do the Eli Drake?
I think so. Like, I think he does it in the ring. Yeah.
He doesn't have to do the dummy anymore, but like that Eli, that was the best.
That's
you're not cool because you're cheering for me.
Yeah, exactly. He is one of my favorite. Like, as far as like Impact, dark side of Impact, dark times, Eli Drake was probably one of my shining stars during that time.
dark side of Impact when we used to go.
Yeah. Back when it ran at Dylan's workplace.
Yeah.
Oh man,
we got in for free. Yeah.
I assume you've watched this week's BTE, which had the greatest...
Ever since 200, it's been so hard to get through them. Because they're, like, there's no real story I care about. Like, they were like, for the one last week, like, it's just a lot of it's Paige just out in the wilderness, and I was like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah. That's the problem, is the fact that now that they can do storylines on an actual show, they can't do it on BTE anymore. Like, they don't have to, like, for a while they were promoting, like, the Cody versus Kenny matches and shit like that. Now that all that's taken care of on AEW, they're kind of floundering. But I will say it had the greatest ending of all time, which was Paige came into the hotel room and was talking to the Bucks ahead of their match, and he goes, "Look, the inner circle, their tight unit, we're kind of floundering right now. We gotta get back together. We need to be a circle." And the Bucks go, "What? Like get in a circle?" "Yeah, like get in a circle, like a football huddle. It's gonna be a football field." So they all do that. And then Matt looks up, he's like, "Man, if only there was like one thing that could help us right now, like one thing that could just walk through that door and save us." And then fucking Marty Skrull just pimps into the door. He's in a face mask, and then he just takes off the mask and is like, "Guys, I'm back." And Matt and Nick are like, "Hey, yeah, just leave the steak over there, Mark." "What? No!" And their eyes are closed, and Marty's trying his best to get them to let him into the match. And Hangman's like, "This isn't even my room, man. Just go down a few floors." And then finally Marty gets fed up and leaves, and then you hear Cutler behind the camera just go, "You guys are fucking idiots." And that's the end of the episode. It was the best ending to a BTE in so long.
I miss Marty every day.
I miss Marty so much.
He has his own channel, and I kind of want to go back through it.
Yeah.
Because he's very creative. But I am sad that he never went back to full, like, evil, the villain.
Yeah. I don't think he can at this point. Especially now that he's like... They're now publicly being like, yeah, Marty is the booker. Because they're doing the whole hire Danhausen thing. Like, if Ring of Honor's going to hire Danhausen or not. And so it is nothing but Danhausen calling Marty. And being like, "Please hire me, sir."
He just has to beat the shit out of somebody.
Who, Marty?
That was how he did it the first time. Yeah, so you remember, I feel so bad, I forget his name. There was the British wrestler who was friends with everybody, but unfortunately passed away from a relapse of cancer. Before he relapsed, I can't remember his name for the life of me. And I feel bad, too, because, like, freaking Will Ospreay during his first match in New Japan had, like wore the guy's colors, like, pink and black, and, like, had, like, a tribute on it.
It's not...
Can't remember.
This was a while back. Okay, yeah, if this was a while back, it's not the person I'm thinking of.
Yeah, but before that happened, when he had first gotten back, and people weren't buying Marty as the villain, and they were like, he's just dressing up, he's pretending. And then the guy came back, and Marty beat the living shit out of him with an umbrella, and that was what cemented him as a heel.
Yeah.
And I just need him to do that. He just needs to come out and beat the shit out of Danhausen.
Yeah, it would be a full-on, like, Danhausen has been hired, he wants to join Villain Enterprises, comes out to the ring that Villain Enterprises beats the living shit out of him. And that would be the story.
Just Marty. He doesn't need the other two. Just Marty.
Oh, other three. There are three now. Flip joined them.
Yeah, no, I know.
The other
pretend
two.
He's not there.
Yeah. But some people that I like to pretend are there are our patrons at patreon.com/a-load-of-BS. That's the website where you can go and support us and get access to exclusive content like Wrestling History X, our show where we talk about the history of some of our favorite moments in professional wrestling. Dylan's talked about Kenny Omega's junior run. I've talked about the summer of Punk, and Blake is hopefully going to do one on Daniel Bryan. We can only pray. Which, fun fact, Blake wasn't watching during that Daniel Bryan stuff, so I'm very curious how he's doing this. Like, he's gonna have to, like, get the network for a few months. But if you want that, you can get it at patreon.com/a-load-of-BS. Who do we want to annoy?
I feel bad annoying anybody these days.
Right? Like, it's rough.
Is Dustwatch considered cyberbullying?
We'll get into that in a minute. I don't think it is, because we're very positive, with the exception of that one time
that 6-month period of time where we negged him? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Maybe we just do anti-cyberbullying, just super positive.
Super positive stuff to people? Okay. You wanna you just tweet something super positive at Danhausen that we know he's gonna get hired or some shit.
Yo, Danhausen, we can't wait for you to get hired by Ring of Honor Hausen.
Ring of Hausen.
Ring of While I do this, why don't you get into your heel of the week?
Sure. My heel of the week is I can't even fully say JD and then a bunch of whatever bullshit.
It's like JD from New York, some shit. Which, by the way, I was wondering why this name sounded familiar. It's because last year he tweeted this. What I really wanted to do in Las Vegas during StarCast was to get my show on the podcast movement stage with an all-star panel with a few of the creators in the community for an hour. I wasn't sure I was even going them. Now I am with media badges, and it's too late. And I was like, oh, no, it's okay, buddy. Anyway, I was trying to be very supportive. Now that I know he's a dick, I'm fucking mad I ever did it. I'm mad I did this.
You never, listen, you couldn't know, you didn't know. But yeah, no. So this dude apparently has like a lot of Twitter followers, a lot of subscribers on YouTube. He decided that he was going to take a, not reasonable, but like a common stance, which is that a professional wrestler isn't contributing. They're doing nothing, like, wrestling-wise. He was talking about Alexa Bliss in Bliss Cross, saying, like, in the tag matches, Cross is carrying all the weight. He decided that the best analogy he could come up with that was someone dead fishing in bed. And he was very graphic about that. Did not link it like I did. I did a much better job than he did.
Yeah.
And, like, it's not even my rant. And like he said,
okay, go on.
And I quote, she does nothing. She's just, I guarantee you she's one of those women that just lies there and takes it. Like, why would you ever think this was... He defended himself, too, because everybody in the WWE, like, and how tone deaf do you have to be after, like, the last few weeks... The last few years of cyberbullying that you're like, no, this is a good move. I'm reading the temperature of the room right now. No, sir. Oh, it was horrifying.
My favorite quote is, of course, can you imagine being in bed with Alexa Bliss? At which point we all go, well, yeah. It's like, but she performs the same way she does in the ring. And I'm like, firstly, don't connect that. Secondly.
Like a multi-time champion?
Yeah, I was like, look, Alexa... I know it's very easy for a lot of people to like, Alexa doesn't put in work. I'm like, no, Alexa to me reminds me of The Miz. Like, you remember when Miz was first starting off and he was very tentative? And so people would be like, The Miz is a terrible worker. No, he is. It's just a matter of like, she doesn't want to get hurt again. You gotta remember, Alexa was on the shelf for like a year.
For like 9 months, yeah. 9 months to a year. And even that, she's still doing something. It's just, she's not trying to kill herself in these empty match shows. I'm pretty sure once the crowds will be there, she'll be like, okay. But like, fuck it, I wouldn't do it either.
I mean, she hit Twisted Bliss off the top of one of the fucking elimination chamber pods. Like, she knows how to do it, but she's also aware, like, if I go too hard, I could go back on the shelf again. I have to get smarter about the way I work.
Yeah, you know.
Well,
that happens to a lot of people.
We do have to take a sad turn for my heel of the week, which is more cyberbullying as a whole, and a big rest in peace to Hana Kimura, who, of course, unfortunately passed away after so much cyberbullying, and it's ridiculous how much she had to suffer through. Because I didn't realize she was also on Tara's house. Because
no, that was the whole reason why. That was why it came out of nowhere. I was just like, why? And then they told me, oh, it was a reality TV thing. And like, I haven't liked reality TV.
Tara's house was huge. Like, I know a lot of people who loved Tara's house because it was like it was literally a reality TV show. There wasn't like a gimmick behind it. It was just 6 people hanging out in a house for a year. But they've slowly started to become more like, not stylized, but like more polarizing, of like focusing on the stuff that'll get bigger ratings. And because of that, like someone who was close to Hana was talking about it, and they were like, Yeah, I was only on the show for a few weeks and I had to leave because of all of the hatred I was getting because of it. So it was absolutely ridiculous, the stuff she had to put up with, and having to remember that, like, dude, it's a reality TV show. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Because, like, all my favorite reality TV shows, they have to deal with it. I've got people on those shows I don't like. It does not mean I go onto Twitter and tell them terrible things and, like, to hurt themselves, because all those people want to do is entertain. Baron Corbin wants to entertain you as much as you don't want to believe it. And, like, I don't know if this was a note or what, but this is apparently a note from Kimura. It says, nearly 100 frank opinions every day. I could not deny that I was hurt. I'm dead. Thank you for giving me a mother. It was a life I wanted to be loved. Thank you to everyone who supported me. I love it. I'm weak. I'm sorry. I don't want to be a human anymore. It was a life I wanted to be loved. Thank you, everyone. I love you. Bye. And I read that before we started recording, and I was like, I don't think I can do the show. Like, it took me down, because she was an entertainer. Like, she was very much an athlete. She was a performer. And when it comes to people,
the thing is she had also been doing it for years, and she was like so loved. Like, she's 20. She was 22.
Yeah, she was
and
very
like,
young.
That many people came out of the woods, like, to like express themselves and how much they, like, cared about her. And I'm sure a lot of them feel terrible because this happened on, like, separate timetable. So, like, a lot of people woke up to this.
I woke up to this. Keep in mind,
exactly.
This happened,
and, like,
right after Shad. And so I was already, I'm not gonna lie, like, that's half the reason I couldn't do the show last week, is I was very, like, devastated because of the Shad news, and then woke up to that the next day, and I was like, this is the worst week of wrestling Twitter ever. Like, this is terrible.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's annoying to, like, cyberbullies are such little assholes, because the majority of them, all they do is just want attention. And as someone who has spent a lifetime and an entire college career paying on learning the right ways to get attention, I'm furious at these guys.
Yeah, and it's brought out the worst in everybody. It brought out the worst, obviously, you know, in that community, and then it brought out the worst in the wrestling community, because, like, then the shitty people from the wrestling community felt justified in being shitty to another community, and it's just, there's no winners. There's no winners.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, it's the same thing. Like, I'm a big Disney guy, if no one knew that, and people in that community will be like, this is fucking ridiculous. Why are they putting a barbecue themed after Sam Eagle in the middle of Epcot, and, like, get into massive screaming fights? And I'm like, you guys know this is a theme park for children, right? It's the same thing with wrestling. I'm like, it's dudes naked wrestling, like makeup wrestling. None of this has to be that serious. None of this is worth life or death. Like, it's insane. But now let's get into the happiness. What is the baby faces of the week?
Mine is the best friends. For a couple of reasons. One is that they have consistently over the last quarantine period been working their asses off. If you count Orange Cassidy, they haven't missed a week.
Oh yeah.
On the AEW rankings for, like, tag teams, like, they're in rank number 1 at 9-3. Second place is 5-0. They have worked 7 more matches than the next team down. I want you to know they started below the Dark Order at the beginning of this, and they had worked enough. And, like, Trent was like, yeah, there were a lot of other people that worked, you know, all that too. But, like, a lot of those people were, like, mid-card. There were a lot of jobbers that were coming in working every week, and that was good. But, like, these guys had expectations. They could have phoned it in, like Private Party.
Oofa doofa, yeah.
Listen, if it hadn't been for, like, some real life stuff, it would have been like Private Party, because they've been super bad since they've come back. Like, they took 4 steps back. It's been rough. But yeah,
I told you guys in chat. My theory is that since the Bucks run the division everybody's like, oh, we need to put on a Bucks level match. We need to do crazy big spots like the Bucks do. And that puts an expectation. And when they try to reach that high of a level, they end up following lower than they would if they just tried a little, not tried less, but, tried to do something that wasn't a Young Bucks match.
Yeah, they're trying to do too many combos. They're trying to get too fancy with it. Like, even Excalibur, like, during one of them was like, yeah, I don't know what they were going for there. Didn't get all of it. And I was just
Excalibur, the man who can make anything up on the spot, was like, I don't know. That's why I'm happy FTR's there. Because FTR is straight up not going to, literally no flips, just fists. They are going to kind of calm things down a little bit.
Yeah, but like, so the best friends become the stalwarts of the division. I'm really happy about that. They've been really entertaining and like upbeat, yet also intense. For some reason, Chuck Taylor's now wrestling in a sleeveless T-shirt. So I don't know if
I like that. I like that aesthetic for Chuck. My favorite addition to their moveset, and I think they started doing this before quarantine though, is still Trent getting whipped into a barricade and then just fucking like shooting out of a cannon and spearing the person directly in front of him.
They I forget what they did this week, but I think like the person went around the corner, or like Dustin whipped him around, and like then, he Irish whipped him into the spear.
Oh,
on the outside.
That's good.
It's like, oh, that he's dead. He's dead now. It's been good. I look forward to them. I think at Fyter Fest, wherever that takes place. It was originally apparently supposed to take place in the UK, but
Yeah, I heard about that. I wouldn't doubt if they did them versus Kenny and...
because Kenny and Hangman are facing Kip and Jimmy next week, and that's probably just to be like, yeah, here are the tag team champions again. Here's them against this relatively new... Yeah, they're gonna figure that out. And then
I'd have them maybe drop to best friends to FTR. Next year's Double or Nothing, FTR versus Bucks for the title.
Yeah, because you gotta, after all the work they put in and how like reliable they've been.
Yeah,
as Excalibur says, you've got to give the people what they want.
Well, my babyface of the week is a man who should never be considered a babyface, and that's MJF and Jungle Boy, for putting on the most beautiful, classical, old school match I've ever seen in my entire life. Jungle Boy still got to get his fun flippy shit in. MJF got to heal it up the entire time. And like, it's one of those matches that was just perfect old school wrestling, which was coming from like two 22-year-olds, like two youngins went out there and outdid Cody and Lance. I'll say they outdid Brody and Mox. Brody and Mox had a great match, but MJF and it's like a couple years ago when Hangman, I think it was Hangman Ibushi maybe, at one of the Supercard of Honors, and they ended up putting on the match of the night, but it was also like, I can't tell you what happened, but I just need you to know it was a fucking quality great match.
Ibushi moonsaulted off the balcony at wherever the fuck they were.
Yeah.
No, I remember. Yeah, now that you bring that up, because that was the card that had Kenny Cody on it. That was
Kenny Cody. But still, Hangman decided to kill it. Hangman decided to be the best person there, and that's what they were. They came out and they put on the great match. And like, here's how I know a great match is because in that match everyone was like, MJF is winning this. MJF is undefeated. But there was that inkling that happened where I was like, Jungle Boy might get this. They might pull a Jungle Boy, the man who barely ever wins anything, beating the undefeated person. And any match that can make you believe that is a great match in my book.
Yeah, they New Japanned you.
Yeah, they New Japanned it.
That's every time you watch like a New Japan Cup match or like another thing, it's like, are they doing? Is Yoshihashi gonna win a match? What?
Especially like during the G1 where you're just like, it's Toro, it's Yano. Fuck. Is he gonna beat Mox? Oh no, he did beat Mox. Oh wait.
Yeah. So I think of like, we have this young boy with his first thing. He's going up against the number one, and you get like midway through it, and you're just like, holy shit, he might pull it. Oh, okay, he got destroyed, but he had me going there for a minute.
Yeah, exactly. Oh wait, FMA says get ready for New Japan Empty Arena shows. Are they running Empty Arena now?
Nope. The company has come out, freaking Harold Meiji has come out and said that they won't do it because it will dilute their brand and their product. They refuse to do it until August, whenever there can be people there. So the president of the company has come out.
Because I think Tama was on Instagram or something talking about, like, well, we can't do anything in Japan, but America's open, so where would you guys like to see us wrestle? So I know that was a possibility for a few, but I do much prefer... That is the most New Japan response of all time, which is like, yeah, no, fuck you. Fuck you, we're New Japan. We are the filet mignon of professional wrestling. You're gonna wait to get this from us. Well, into the show.
That's why they still get my $10 every month, even though I haven't watched it since the quarantine started.
Yeah. Well, now I want to talk about something that's not a heel or a face. I like to call it a tweener, and it is the Stadium Stampede match, which I guess can be our end of show discussion, because it was a great match, but I'm very curious how someone who's not a fan of the Elite would react to it. To me, it was a very polarizing match, even though I was like, oh, I love it. But there's a weird spot where, like, Matt's doing the railroad fucking suplex, and he starts on one side of the football field, and then does it to Sammy all the way down to the other side of the football field. There's a moment
Does he actually do it, or do they cut?
It's a cut. So, like, because Nick's fighting Jericho and fucking just throwing footballs at him. And so they'd cut to that, cut back. He's at, like, the 50-yard line suplexing. And then finally he gets to the end and suplexes him into the end zone. And Matt jokingly starts, like, celebrating. And Knox is there. And Knox is like, excessive celebration. Flag on the call, and then Matt super kicks him in the face, which was very satisfying to see a Rick Knox super kick on fucking public pay-per-view. It was very good. But it was such a weird, like, it's the thing that worries me when it comes to the Elite, is there are so many, like, inside jokes and goofy things they do, like Hangman Page riding a horse into a football field and then into the arena and then getting off of it and going to a bar, where it's like, oh no, we get that, but someone watching for the very first time, I don't know. I don't know if other people would...
AEW is aware that the people buying their pay-per-view, their $50 pay-per-view, are not first-time people.
Yeah, I could see that. But I'm worried about it going too much, because the Bucks...
No, I'm pretty sure this was the fucking pinnacle.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they're not gonna go anywhere up from here. They were just being like, okay, we're gonna, like... this was basically the payoff for the people that were kind enough to watch all of quarantine shit.
Yeah, basically. I mean, it was the buildup of basically since Dynamite started. Like, the minute the Inner Circle came out was the minute you knew, oh, this is building up to them versus the Elite. And then Cody
I'm sad we never got Blood or Guts.
And then Cody said, I'm gonna fuck off for a few, you guys. Okay, put Matt Hardy in then, I guess. Let's put Matt. That is, like...
Listen,
that's
the private pool of reincarnation
That was great. Like, the moment they started drowning him, I'm like, he's about to come up as someone completely different. And then, like, V1. The only thing that made me mad...
Matt Fax came back.
Yeah, the only thing that made me mad, I wish he had started as traditional Matt Hardy and then came out of the Lake of Reincarnation as broken Matt Hardy. That was very, very good. But, yeah, other than that, it was a great match. It was just... I'm very always conscious of, like, what would somebody watching this for the first time be like? And I think they would think it was absolute dog shit. And that is not to offend them. They put on the best match that they wanted to make, but also, this was the pinnacle, as you said, of shit that goes way too far.
I didn't see it. I'm not paying $50 for anything in this climate.
I mean, in this economy, yeah, I would watch it for Jungle Boy MJF, because the Best Friends versus Private Party was rough. It was
also free.
That's right. That one was free. MJF, Jungle Boy was very good. Brody versus Mox was very good.
That was good for the fact that it had a non-traditional, like, wrestling ending in that he just choked a motherfucker out.
Oh, yeah. Wait, which
Couldn't
one?
put him... Yeah. Moxley choked Brody Lee out.
Am I going insane? I thought he hit. I could have sworn he hit a paradigm shift to end it, but you might be right.
Nope, then he choked him out.
Oh, you're like, you stopped paying attention a moment before he choked a motherfucker out.
Like, Brody Lee was so tough, he was just like, nope.
And then I forgot, Sheeta versus Nyla Rose was good. That was so good that it made me happy I missed my prediction. I was like, oh, fuck that, because that was fantastic. That was the match that put Sheeta over more than the 5 billion wins she's had in the past, is conquering Nyla Rose. Because it did feel like conquering. It did not feel like a sneak victory. It felt like everything she did.
It was like the anti-Riho match.
Yeah. And she was cosplaying Tifa, which was fucking fantastic. But yeah, that's all I really have to say about Double or Nothing. It was a good pay-per-view. It was a good show. I feel like
we're very sad we couldn't see it live. We had started after the WrestleMania stuff got canceled. We're like, okay, if this blows over, can we still go to Double or Nothing? And I was actually more crushed by the WrestleMania one, but the Double or Nothing was like the kicking me while I was down. But I was like, but no, I wanted to go to Vegas and not be fucking sick this time.
Yeah. Not be destroyed. Oh, man, I do like, Mitsula, who was basically our tour guide last time, posted a nice thing on Twitter just showing all the fun shit he did last year, and I was happy we made it on there. I was very blessed. But what did you learn this week, Dylan?
I learned that cyberbullying is not okay, and if you can use your time on the internet to make a positive influence, that's what it's all about.
And when the fucking Lord of the Smart Side is telling you to do that, you fucking do it. That means you know it's serious. And I learned that without Blake, I think Blake's the one that's causing these shows to go long. Because we've only been going for like 50 minutes. This is all Blake's fault, I guess. But of course,
Blake is also... Here's the thing. You and I will cut each other off and move to the next segment. Blake will just let either one of us rant.
Yeah, like he'll just hold back the other one as we're trying to rush forward and be like, no, cut him off, let's go.
Well, no, he even admitted he uses that time while one of us is ranting to think of his response.
Yeah.
So he's just like, I can let him go another minute while I think of something to say.
Yeah. So you can yell at him about that on Twitter at Blake A. Tanner, BLAKE A. Tanner. And then, of course, check out all of his shows on the BS Network, from A Load of BS to Deviant to, of course, JWF Monday Night Ignition.
Also, you should go follow Chuck Taylor.
I was like, maybe Dylan will say his Twitter name this week, but no. This is the anniversary, by the way, the anniversary of, like, the first time you ever publicly announced your Twitter name, because you did it at Double or Nothing last year.
Yeah, I miss, nothing happened with it, so it's fine.
It's no big deal. And you can find me on Twitter at Scottye Moore, SCOTTYEMO. Buy all my books on Amazon and let me on your podcast, because I'm trying to set a Guinness World Record for the most podcast appearances by a single man in 1 year. So message me on Twitter if you want to get at me on that. And check out all the other programming online at aloadofpurebs.com, especially JWF Monday Night Ignition. We already know you like pro wrestling. That's why you're here. And JWF Monday Night Ignition is a pro wrestling audio drama. It's basically wrestling just without the visuals, which actually might be important to have the visuals, but fuck it, whatever. You can find that wherever you get your podcasts.
Special thanks to Megaran for our theme song, Fighters.
Yes, thank you. Earlier this week, he was tweeted AEW like, hey, if you need a theme song for All Out, hit me up. And I was this close to retweeting it and saying, yeah, we need another theme song to steal. It would mean a lot to us.
You should have done that.
Oh, yeah. And, of course, as always, remember to support us on Patreon. Pick up our merch at merch.aloadofpurebs.com. And, as always, you can find us at aloadofpurebs.com. Step up to the merch table at merch.aloadofpurebs.com. Find us on Facebook, donate to the Patreon, subscribe on YouTube, and rest in power, Hanakamura. Because when you're a fight boy for life.